We're here with Joe Sapone from Bonsai Etc. An existing shop on Bridge Street, not a new business. How long you been in business here, Joe?
About 7 years.
How do you like it here?
Well, I like it very much.
Well, I know that.
Pick up a lot now lately, and a lot of new stores coming in, a lot of things happening in Phoenixville, so its business has been picking up.
Well, I know that we had some problems here on the corner, and I guess those have pretty much gone away.
Yes, they have.
Joe was involved with many efforts with the police and with the council and with the Main Street in order to help clean up this block. And we always appreciated your honesty and your forthrightness in dealing with the problem. But now about your shop, what is it that you sell?
Well, bonsai plants themselves, but I also have a large collection of Asian antiques and collectibles.
If I was looking for a plant, and what would make me want to get a bonsai?
Well, I think it's a great hobby, for one thing, and in Japan they used to call it an old man's hobby because as you got older, you could diddle around with these things and entertain yourself. And it takes a lot of time and effort. And so it does create a hobby that you have to be devoted to somewhat. It's not just something that you can pick up and, let them go, because you have to constantly care for them. So,
And that involves a lot of watering and.
It's a combination. Bonsai is really a combination of art and horticulture. So you have to have some knowledge of plants and how they live and that sort of thing. So that requires that you water them, that you prune them, that sort of thing. But also, in the process, you are supposed to be creating art. It's the idea of a bonsai. Literally, it means a tree in a pot, and that doesn't tell you too much in itself. Anything could be in a pot. But the idea of it is that you are trying to create an illusion of a tree that's growing in nature, only it's in this little pot. Now, that doesn't mean that the plant has to look like an oak tree specifically or something like that. As in any art, you can adapt the thing to the form that you feel happy with. So it's a personal thing. You create the illusion of age, of stature and that sort of thing, shape. You do all of that. So it's a hobby where you control the thing itself. And that's what I think makes it interesting, that you are in control of the thing. It requires constant pruning, constant care. But some people feel as though it's worth it. It can be a lot of work. It's not something that you really want to give to someone as a gift if you're not sure that they would want it, because it's like giving a dog to someone if he doesn't like dogs or he doesn't want to care for a dog or something. The same thing is true of a bonsai. So I wouldn't recommend just buying one and giving it to someone as a gift. You should have some idea if the person really wants to get into it or is into horticulture, into plants and that sort of thing, and has the will to go on with it. Otherwise, they die, and I've seen quite a few of those.
When I was one time, the first time that I became aware of the bonsai tree was during the Karate Kid. I mean, is this from Japan or?
Well, it's about 2,000 years old, the hobby itself, and it actually started in China. And as with many things, the Japanese took it and really developed it much further than the Chinese have a tendency to, their bonsai is more natural and wild looking, and they don't restrict the plant as much as the Japanese do. The Japanese have developed a whole series of formal things that you do with a plant, and that was not the Chinese idea, and it still isn't. And so there's a difference in the two forms of bonsai. For example, I might show you what I'm talking about a little bit here. You can see
You want me to hold it? I can hold it.
the stylized trunk on this particular. This is a common privet that you might find as a hedge or something, but yet it's been made into this little bonsai tree. And it's more what I would call of a Chinese style because of this somewhat exotic styling of it. And that's what they do. They expose roots, they twist the trunks, and let them go pretty much the way they want to. They also have what they call, the method of pruning them is just clip and grow. They cut the ends and prune them to where they want them. The Japanese have made it pretty rigid. They wire them, and they wire the branches in certain directions. Certain form must be followed, and that. I don't have one that is really Japanese looking, but this is close to it. It's what you would call a formal upright, and the Japanese tend to make their trees in that style, and the branches are supposed to be in certain places and that sort of thing, and if they aren't, then they wire them into that form.
Well, as I look around and I come in here quite a bit to buy the gifts. You're jam packed with gifts here. I mean, I even saw the little black Buddha, in there, which is definitely a fave of mine and is probably going to end up on my mantle. Where do you get these gifts from?
I have dealers in China and Japan who send me things. I order them through them. I also buy from estates because many times people are collectors of things, and when they die, their children are not interested in it or don't have any knowledge of it, and they sell them off. So I buy them through estates. I buy them in auctions, and people come in and sell them to me and that sort of thing. So it's a constant struggle to find these things, and it takes a great deal of my time really to look around, and I try to find things that are interesting and pretty good looking, so it takes a lot of time.
Well, my final question is, back in World War II, when these suicide pilots were going after the aircraft carriers, why were they yelling about the bonsai plant?
It's a different word.
Really?
Yes, this is bonsai, which is B-O-N-S-A-I, and they were hollering banzai. Which is a war cry of the samurais, and that the people.
Okay, so you don't have anything to do with the samurais.
No. Yes, I have collections of things that relate to anything that really is along these lines. The samurai used to be into bonsai. They wrote poetry. They made bonsai.
Yeah, it was the full man. Yeah, right.
And it was a whole routine that they followed, and so there is a relationship between the two.
What's your address here?
14 Gay Street.
And you were a pioneer on Gay Street.
Yes.
And what are your hours?
Well, I'm open Wednesday and Thursday, 11 to 5, and Friday, 12 to 6. On the first Friday of the month, I'm open till 8:30. On Saturday, I'm open 10 to 3, and on Sunday, 12 to 3. I'm closed on Monday and Tuesday.
So on first Friday, you're open, and people could feel comfortable making this turn over onto Gay Street, coming down here and checking you out, and seeing the wonderful array of gifts you have. What's your phone number?
610-935-0818.
So we're here with Joe Sapone, bonsai, etc. If you have some time, first Friday or any other day, stop in. Check out this wide array of gifts and bonsai trees. Some of this stuff is just fascinating. So thank you very much. This is Barry Cassidy for the Downtown Report. That wraps us up. I hope you enjoyed the show. There was a few different shops, Scarlet Begonias and Bonsai Joe. Bonsai gave a tremendous little rendition of why you should buy one of those kinds of trees, you know. So until next time, Barry Cassidy with the Downtown Report.